This might be the hardest truth for most men to hear. Have you ever walked into a room thinking you were composed, only to realize later you were being silently judged? Most men don't realize it, but women sense weakness before you even speak. And it's not about your car, your suit, or your bank account. True strength isn't loud. It's not something you wear. It's something you are in the quiet moments, in how you hold yourself, in how you master your emotions when no one is watching. You see, many men think power comes from how much they own or how impressive they sound. But a Stoic knows, real power comes from self-mastery. In this video, we'll uncover 7 silent signs of weakness that women notice instantly, signs that most men overlook but pay the price for later. Are you ready to stop being blind to your own blind spots? 1. Validation seeking, a quiet signal of weakness. Here's something most men never realize. The moment you start needing her approval, you're no longer leading, you're following. A man who constantly seeks to be liked, to be reassured, to hear "you're enough" from others is not grounded. He becomes a mirror reflecting what people want to see instead of a flame burning from within. Women sense this instantly, and while they may smile, deep down they don't feel safe. Why? Because if your confidence depends on someone else's reaction, what happens when they withdraw? A strong man doesn't ask, "Do they like me?" He asks, "Am I true to who I am?" That's not arrogance, it's integrity. 2. Excessive apologizing when being nice backfires. There's strength in admitting when you're wrong. But constantly apologizing, especially when you've done nothing wrong, that's not humility, that's insecurity. When a man apologizes for his opinions, his presence, even his existence, he doesn't appear kind, he appears unsure. And women can feel that hesitation. Because if you keep saying sorry for who you are, what you're really saying is, "I don't believe I deserve space." And here's the truth. You can't earn respect by shrinking. Stand by your words, own your truth. Apologize when necessary, yes, but never apologize for existing. A man who respects himself teaches the world how to treat him. 3. Fear of silence. There's a certain kind of fear that doesn't scream, it rambles. You've seen it before. A man who can't stop talking, filling every pause with nervous chatter, jokes that don't land, or explanations that never end. Why? Because silence terrifies him. He believes if he stops talking, he'll lose your attention, or worse, your approval. But here's the truth. Women can sense this fear. They see it in the flicker of uncertainty when he runs out of things to say. That panic isn't hidden, it's loud. A strong man, however, is not afraid of silence. He's anchored in it. He lets it breathe. He knows silence isn't emptiness, it's presence. He doesn't speak to be heard. He speaks when it matters. And sometimes the most powerful thing a man can say is nothing at all. 4. Emotional reactivity. Have you ever met a man who explodes at the smallest offense or crumbles the moment things don't go his way? He wears his emotions on his sleeve like a child waiting for someone to soothe him. And while passion has its place, uncontrolled emotion, that's not strength, that's volatility. Women pick up on this fast. If your mood swings like a pendulum, if one sharp word throws you off course, how can you be trusted to handle real life, real storms? A Stoic man doesn't react, he responds. He knows that power isn't in controlling others, it's in mastering himself. As Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." In a world that constantly pulls at your emotions, true masculinity is this: staying calm, centered, and composed, no matter what's thrown your way. That's the kind of man people follow. That's the kind of man she trusts. 5. Lack of purpose. Nothing repels faster than a man who's just drifting. No mission, no fire, no direction. He wakes up, goes through the motions, and hopes someone, maybe a woman, will hand him a reason to feel alive. But here's the truth. Purpose can't be borrowed. It must be forged. When a man has no goal, he clings. He looks to others to define him. That's not a partner, it's a burden. And women sense it immediately. Because deep down, every woman is drawn to a man who's going somewhere. Not just existing, but building, striving, growing. Seneca once said, "If one does not know to which port one is sailing, no wind is favorable." In other words, A man without direction is a man easily lost. So ask yourself, are you moving with purpose or just waiting to be saved? When you chase a mission greater than yourself, you stop chasing validation. And that's when the world starts to follow you, including her. 6. People-pleasing, the silent self-betrayal. A man who always agrees, always nods, always says, okay, even when his soul screams, no isn't kind. He's afraid of conflict, afraid of rejection, afraid that if he ever dares to set a boundary, he'll lose love. But here's the truth. When you constantly please others, you quietly abandon yourself. And women feel it deeply, because a man without boundaries is a man who won't protect her when it matters. If you can't stand up for yourself, how will you ever stand up for her? Saying no isn't rude, it's respectful. It shows strength, it shows clarity. It shows you know who you are and what you will or will not allow. A Stoic man doesn't chase peace by avoiding tension. He creates peace by standing in truth, even if it's uncomfortable. So ask yourself, are you liked because you're agreeable or respected because you're real? 7. Lack of inner conviction. When you bend, you break. Have you ever met a man who seems agreeable, but somehow you don't trust a word he says? That's what happens when a man constantly shifts his opinions just to match whoever's in front of him. He thinks he's being likable, but what others see, especially women, is a man who has no spine. Because authenticity isn't about saying what's convenient. It's about standing in what's true. A man who agrees with everyone stands for nothing. And eventually, no one stands with him. True strength isn't found in how well you blend in. It's found in how bravely you stay rooted. You can't build respect on borrowed beliefs. Women don't admire perfection. They admire presence, and presence comes from clarity. Knowing who you are, what you value, and having the quiet courage to live that, even when it's unpopular. So the question is, are your words a reflection of your soul, or just an echo of someone else's approval? Conclusion. Self-mastery is the ultimate strength. Attraction can begin with looks or charm, but lasting respect, that only comes from mastery over yourself. A weak man seeks validation. A strong man seeks truth. One bends to be liked. The other stands because he knows who he is. So the real question isn't, how do I get her to like me? It's, how do I become the man I'm meant to be? Because when you stop chasing approval and start chasing purpose, everything shifts. Your energy changes, your presence deepens, and the world, including her, takes notice. Remember, a man doesn't become powerful by controlling others. He becomes powerful by mastering himself. When you lead yourself with clarity, stillness, and conviction, love doesn't need to be pursued, it gravitates toward you. If this resonated with you, subscribe and become the man you were meant to be.